Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have you nostalgia and loss. So I've really been in this weird, like nostalgia, growing up type of mood lately because I'm getting older and I'm looking back on a lot of things, and sort of my nostalgia has sort of kicked in a lot here recently, and I'm going to go over that. And also, in the making of this video, to do with the lost part is we lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable from the Cosby Show, Ozzy Osbourne, freaking Ozzy Osbourne, and just recently in the making of this video today, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, right? These are like staples of mine and many others people's childhoods that who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, right? And I'm finding myself as I'm getting older, I have a lot of responsibilities. I have to be a man. I have to do a lot. I don't get to do a lot of the stuff I used to do with like comic books and movies and nerd stuff in general, because I'm a nerd, and I don't get to do a lot of that anymore. And it was one of the reasons why I started this channel, was on the basis of to be able to have that fun again, to be a bit nostalgic, and to talk about nerd stuff and physical media and all that good stuff, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about all that and the loss of these people in this video, and what really spurred this whole like nostalgia growing up thing. Because yes, we do have to grow up, right? We do have to get older and do things and have responsibilities. I have to be a man, but also I don't want to lose the stuff that made me have fun or have a good time. And we're in a time where it's 2025, and we're losing people that were really big to us and important to us in the 80s and the 90s, like I mentioned. And what really spurred this whole thing on to start with, was I watched these two movies recently, Fanboys and Safety Not Guaranteed, and these really spurred a lot of my nostalgia growing up feelings, because with fanboys here, it reminded me what it was like to be a Star Wars fan, what it was like to actually enjoy Star Wars and hang out with your buddies and my brothers and talk Star Wars and nerd stuff and Star Trek, and make fun of each other and have a good time and be excited about movies again, about an upcoming Star Wars movie. And then, like with Safety Not Guaranteed, it's a little movie about like time travel, and there's a great line in the movie where this character tells this character, because he's like a nerd. He's like a nerd computer guy, and he doesn't really do anything. And he's like, I'm asking, he like, this guy comes up to him and he goes, I'm asking you to be a man, come out and have a wild time with us, right? So I think about that too, because yeah, like I said, I have to be a man. I have to grow up. I have to do things, and I can't always just bury myself into nerd stuff and everything like that. But also, I don't want to lose that connection to them. And then I know I've been talking about it a lot here on the channel and everything, but after I saw the Superman movie, and this isn't about the Superman movie, but after I saw the Superman movie, there was something so special about that movie to me, that just reignited my love for Superman, because I've always been a huge Superman fan, and it did something that no other comic book movie has done for me in years, and that is, it's got me to go back through my old comic books and reread my old comic books that I used to have, and remember why I liked comics, and go back and watch some old like superhero movies as well, and some other things that dealt with like comic books and superheroes and horror movies and stuff that I used to get into, and all that like that. And it's just something about that movie really spurred my interest back into all these things. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on here. It just reminded me of a kid again, and it reminded me of the things I loved, and it's helping me to get through this. And then I wish I had some stuff for Malcolm Jamal Warner. I don't have the Cosby Show or anything like that, but I remember watching the Cosby Show growing up as a kid. I remember thinking Theo was pretty darn cool. And I know this has nothing to do with Theo, but I also thought Lisa Bonet was pretty hot on the Cosby Show. But like, I remember him. I remember Theo. He was, as like one of the older kids, one of the older brothers. I'm an older brother, right? So I really related to that, and then to see that passing is insanity. And then not long after, like a couple days later, whatever, we lost Ozzy. Now I could show you off a million Black Sabbath albums or Ozzy Osbourne albums that were so much more important and influential and everything, but I'm going to show off this Ozfest 2002 CD that was recorded live during Ozfest 2002. Why? Because this CD It's not even the best Ozfest. It's not even the best lineup of people from Ozfest. But this city means a lot to me. It's nostalgic to me in the sense of this was the year I graduated high school in 2002. So I remember just jamming out to like stuff like this in 2002, and with the passing of Ozzy, it just really made me think about that. And also, like, his reality TV show at the time was kind of big. And this has one of my favorite live versions of War Pigs sung by Ozzy. So I really like that. But like I mean, like I said, it doesn't have the greatest of bands. It's got System of a Down, Rob Zombie, POD, Drowning Pool, Edema, Black Label Society, Down, Hatebreed, Soil with Zach Wild, Flaw, Third Strike, Paul Sultra, Il Nino, Meshuggah, Andrew WK with Kelly Osbourne singing She Is Beautiful, right? So, but there's just something about this, and just like Ozzy was so cool and so important to so many of us, like nerdy metal kids, who grew up, and it just like, I don't know, he meant a lot. He was this very iconic presence in a lot of our lives and everything. And as I'm 42 years old, I'm thinking a lot on this, and it's been brought up. It's being brought up in all these weird ways, and like with watching the Fanboys movies and Safety Not Guaranteed, and then watching Superman, and then reading my old Superman comic books, and watching old superhero movies. Now listening to Ozzy, and seeing Ozzy pass away, and also, I have not been into wrestling very much since I got older, right? Kind of grew out of it a little bit, but we lost Hulk Hogan. And so, and much like most of you, I mean, I could have brought on, once again, I could have brought on like No Holds Barred, Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando, or something, the movies like he did. But for like most of you, I remember seeing Hulk Hogan as a wrestler in the WWF. I know it's WWE now, but it was the WWF. And this is, the Ultimate Hulk Hogan collection of like his matches and stuff from WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. And what's important about this as well too is the WWE is no longer releasing physical media. They have stopped releasing anything on physical media. Everything's gone to streaming. That's another loss that we've got. Not only did we lose Hulk Hogan and Ozzy and Michael Jamal Warner, and in some cases maybe even our innocence when we find out about the losses. Yeah, they're celebrities and stuff, and we never known personally, but they meant so much to us growing up in our childhood. And I say my prayers, I eat my vitamins. I do what I can to stay in shape now. I remember, I do that, I follow that, and they meant something to us. Yeah, they're celebrities. We can mourn them and grieve them in our own ways. We didn't know them and all that, and but they were sort of part of our lives, especially these type of celebrities. We welcomed into our homes and our TV and our lives, and we enjoyed them, and we didn't know much about them like we do now with social media, where social media is giving these so-called celebrities the voices, and we kind of like, we hear their thoughts, and we we get turned off a little bit. But yeah, I remember, this is what, I remember seeing Hulk Hogan as a wrestler first, and Rocky 3, of course, as well. But like seeing it with the Andre the Giant, I wasn't alive when he did the Andre the Giant thing, but I remember hearing about that. I remember very fondly the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan match. I remember the Mega Powers with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and everything. And I'm glad to have something like this to preserve that memory, especially since they don't release stuff like this anymore. And that's why I love physical media. It's just this very weird time I'm having right now with nostalgia and with loss, and to see this, because yeah, I know I'm talking physical media and stuff like that and everything, and maybe this is a little bit of therapy or whatever, being able to make these videos. But yeah, I had to grow up pretty quick at one point in time. I had to be an adult. I have to take care of my family. I have to have to work. I have to I have to live. I have to be a man. I have to be a man, and sometimes I got to do push away these things that some people may call childish. But also, I'm also a nerd, and I find myself nostalgic for not only the loss of that as I got older, but also for the loss of Malcolm Jamal Warner, for Ozzy, for Hulk Hogan, and what I remember. And that's why I'm glad to have things like physical media and stuff like that. Like, this stuff will touch you. It will mean a lot to you, and I'm glad to have this. But these are my thoughts I have for you guys in this video I wanted to do, called Nostalgia and Loss. Let me know what you guys thought about this in the comment section down below. Which one of these, deaths may have hit you the hardest? What have you been nostalgic for? Are you feeling that? Because I'm getting older, and I would like to eventually settle down with a woman and everything, and whatnot. And one of the cool things that I've done on this channel that I like to do is, like, I just recently talked to Harrison Lang, who owns a video store. There's no video stores left, and he's like bringing back the video store. So I got to talk with him, and that's something that I used to do in the video store and stuff. I used to hang out at a comic book store growing up when I was a kid. There's no comic book stores around me anymore. So I got my comic books here and everything. And I got to talk to with my friend Michelle about Stranger Things and Superman and horror movies and stuff. I mean, that was pretty cool. That's something I like to do here. Like, and then of course I get to talk with Tom and Runner every Wednesday night on the Physical Media Show, where we show our physical media and stuff like that. That's why I want to do this channel. That's why I like doing this, and it's fun to do that, and it gives me that nostalgic nerd feelings again, and all that. But let me know what your guys' thoughts and comments are in the comment section down below. If you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hitting that bell for notification. That would be awesome if I earn you guys' subscriptions, or possibly share the video out for everybody to see, or join and become a channel member, because that would help out my channel immensely. Thank you, and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here and for all of your support. To everybody watching, whether you like me, hated me, or liked this video or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long. Wherever you all are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media, because it really, truly is the superior format now more than ever. Godspeed.